In this video, we'll take a look at a Kanban Agile board here in Jira. All right, so to access our boards, we'll come up to Boards, and if you don't see the board that you're looking for, we'll want to go to View All Boards. Very similar to what we've looked at in other videos in this course. And you can see I have a couple boards here. One of them is a Kanban board and the Scrum board. We cover the Scrum board in a different video, so let's take a look at the Kanban board. All right, so here is our Kanban board. You can see I've kind of pre-populated it with a few different issues, just kind of get an idea what it'll look like. One of the primary differences between a Kanban board and a Scrum board is that a Kanban board does not have a backlog because you're not going to be sprinting when you're working with Kanban. It's an ongoing development cycle. Essentially, the process for a day-to-day workflow on a Kanban board is going to be to take things from the left-hand side, so things that are to do, start to work on them, and try to drag them all the way over to the right until they're done. So if I were to just do a quick filter, look for only the issues that I have, it looks like I don't have anything actually in progress. So the idea then would be, what am I going to work on next? You can see there's a couple here that are higher priority. So I'm just going to take the two high priority ones and organize those just a little bit. Let's take, if there's no actual, if we can open this up, if there's no comments or anything like that that's going to determine which is the next one I should actually work on, and it really is up to me, then I'll pick which one I want to work on, click, drag this over to in progress, and actually start working on this. Now, the idea is that, on a day-to-day workflow, you're going to keep checking back and keep this up to date, and you don't want to actually start working on something else until this one is as close to done as you can get it. Ideally, if you can completely finish it yourself, that's great. Sometimes in the real world, you actually need to get approval for something or you need to send something off. And if that's the case, you can kind of put this on hold and then drag something else over to start working on it. But the idea is that you want to take this all the way to the right. When that's done, pull something else over and actually start working on that. So that's the basic day-to-day workflow in the Kanban board here. Now, if I close out of this, let's get back to this view so we can see a few more issues here. So as you might imagine, as you start to get things done, this done column or complete or whatever your team calls it, is really going to start to add up, right? And that's where this release comes in. And this is something that your team leader, manager, or Jira administrator will have permissions to clear out. Essentially, what a release is for Kanban is it's going to tie all of the issues that are done and then push them into like a software release. So think of it that way. So say release version 1.0 is going to have these three issues in it. And what's really cool is if you actually release this, and we'll look at how we can do that in a later video, but you can actually, you can see what was in each release. And so that way you can see the incremental progress that's being done to your software, to your site, to your project, whatever it is that you're working on. It's a really nice way of being able to see the progress that's going on and being created here inside of Jira. All right, so that's a basic look at the Kanban Agile board. The actual interface of this is very similar to what we've looked at previously with the Scrum board. We have the title up here. We have the quick filters that, once again, are customizable by your team lead or Jira administrator. We have the board configuration, the ability to hide everything. Fairly straightforward. You have our sidebar over here. You notice there's no backlog, just the board and then reports. So we'll be looking at reports in a later module where we'll be looking at kind of a lot of the reporting features here inside of Jira. But for now, that's a basic look at the Kanban Agile board interface. So let's move on to our next video where we'll take a look at creating and working with epics.